is dumplings. Today, I will show you the complete process of making them in full, and I won't cut corners on any detail or step. Hello, everyone. Today, I'd like to share with you the method for making a traditional Chinese delicacy. This dish is of great importance and quite famous to the Chinese people. If you want to treat Chinese friends to a meal but don't know which dish to choose, I think this one is a good old classic. I think you are familiar with this dish, right? It's dumplings. Dumplings is such an interesting delicacy. There are various ways to make them. You can either prepare them in a simple way or put great care into making them. But no matter how you make them, usually they taste quite good. Today, I will show you the complete process of making them in full, and I won't cut corners on any detail or step. But under normal circumstances, it doesn't need to be less complicated. And to be honest, I usually skip a few of these steps. Okay, enough talking. Let's get started. First, let's prepare the ingredients. Now, flour, water, minced meat. Today I've chosen pork. You can also use beef. And dried shrimps. And Chinese chives. Wood ear mushrooms. Rapeseed oil. Green onions. Garlic. Ginger. Star anise, and the seasonings: salt, sugar, ground white pepper, and light soy sauce, oyster sauce, and sesame oil. Alright, without further ado, today is quite a big project, so let's start with kneading the dough first. Once we've kneaded the dough well, we need to let it rest. After the dough sits for a while, it'll be much easier to shape and become more pliable. So let's start this process. Today's portion is for 3 people, so I prepared about 500 grams of flour. Now let's start adding water. We need to add it little by little, not pour all the water into the flour at once. Once we add the water, stir the flour to gradually turn it into these flocculent clumps. When almost all the flour has formed such clumps, it means we've added enough water, and we don't need to add any more at this point. Now we just need to knead them together to form a dough. Right now, the dough doesn't look smooth enough, but that's okay. We just need to let it sit for a while. Next, we will start making seasoned oil. As for how to use the finished seasoned oil, we will find out in a moment. Alright, now let's turn on the gas and heat up the rapeseed oil. At this point, first add the star anise and let its aroma be fully released. Then add the green onions, ginger, and garlic. Keep the heat low at this stage. Let the aromas of these ingredients infuse slowly. When you see these ingredients turn slightly browned, the seasoned oil is done. Let's ladle it out and let it cool down. Now let's start preparing and chopping the ingredients. Let's knead the dough again to make it smoother. Next comes the most important step, starting to make the dumpling filling. First, we need to find a way to make the minced meat tender. So how do we do that? Actually, it's very easy. Just use water. We need to gradually work the water into the minced meat. Okay, now let's start this process. This step takes some time and requires a bit of patience, but it's the key to the tender texture of the dumpling filling. During this process, we need to add some light soy sauce, oyster sauce, sugar, and ground white pepper. Alright, now we can see the texture of the minced meat is different from how it was at the beginning. It's now much smoother and finer. Moreover, it's noticeably easier to stir. This means it's reached the perfect consistency. Next, we just need to mix all the chopped ingredients together until they are combined. Alright, do you remember the sesame oil we made at the beginning? Right, now pour it into the filling. It will take the dumplings' flavor to the next level. And a little sesame oil as well. Right. Finally, this step is crucial. Add the salt. Salt must be added at the very last step. If you add the salt too early, it'll draw out all the moisture from the ingredients. Next, let my mom demonstrate how to make dumpling wrappers for you all. First, shape the dough into a cigar, like a log, though it's much thinner than a real cigar, roughly 3 times as thick. Next, we can cut it into pieces about 2 finger width wide. Of course, once you're more skilled, you can just pinch off a piece like my mom does. Usually, I still use a knife. Now it's time to roll out the wrappers. Alright, roll the piece of dough into a ball first. Then press it flat with the paw, like this. Now, roll the rolling pin with one hand while rotating the dough with the other. Repeat this a few times and that's it. Okay, let's start making them quickly. Finally, let's start wrapping the dumplings. Actually, this step can be quite casual. Any shape works as long as you just fully enclose the filling in the wrapper. Now, I will show you the simplest one. First, let's place the filling on the wrapper. And then, simply fold it in half and pinch the edges shut. Right, that's it. It's done. Easy, right? Actually, we'd like to add a bit of styling. Every Chinese person has their own unique way of making them. There's no fixed pattern. As long as you just think it looks nice and feels easy to make, that's all that matters. Okay, now let's carry on and finish making them. Look, this is how my mom wraps hers. And this is my dad's method. Alright, We are finally done making them. Next step, let's cook the dumplings. Cooking the dumplings is even simpler. First, pour water into a pot. Once the water boils, add the dumplings. When the water comes to a boil again, turn down the heat, cover the pot with a lid, and simmer for 5 minutes. Then remove the lid, turn up the heat, and cook for another 2 minutes. They are ready, let's dig in. Alright, that's the process for making dumplings, a traditional Chinese food. I hope you enjoyed today's video. See you in the next one.